Hey, what is going on guys? This is Tharshey and welcome back to another video on the channel. As you can see, we are doing something a bit different today as we are in Total War Rome 2, which is not something you're going to see very often on my channel. But if you guys do enjoy this video, then please do drop a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on those post notifications. Anyways, let's get straight into it. So, as I said, we are in Rome 2 today, and that's because, as you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be talking about the difference, especially in terms of game mechanics and combat mechanics, between Total War Rome 2 and Total War Attila. So, for those of you guys who know me, you'll know that I love Attila a lot, and I don't rarely play Rome 2. And one of the major things that I always mention is obviously, well, campaign-wise, Attila is just a whole lot more difficult because of the campaign for Attila is basically an apocalypse-style survival nightmare, Like, the entire atmosphere of the campaign is the world ending, Attila coming and burning everything to the ground, and whichever faction you're playing as just trying to survive, fighting tooth and nail for every, inch of land, paying with the blood of your people, to try and just survive the oncoming winter and all the enemy factions around you. While Rome 2 is more of the classic Total War thing, like, you just have a kingdom, you expand, and you conquer all your neighbors, and you keep going until the entire map is painted in your color. But that's just campaign-wise. Now, battle-wise, so battle/game mechanic-wise, Rome 2 in their combat is extremely stat-based, while Attila is a lot more tactical. And what I mean by that is very simple, right? So stat-based combat basically means, or what I mean by it when I say it, is an expensive unit or a unit with better stats will demolish a unit that is cheaper or, a unit with worse stats no matter what. And when I say no matter what, I mean, the unit can be surrounded, for example. An example that I always give, to people when I'm trying to, explain what I mean, especially when I'm trying to, tell them the difference between Attila and Rome 2, is I say a unit of Praetorian Guard with full gold chevrons in Rome 2, right? If they go up against two extremely cheap units, like two extremely cheap melee units, those two melee units can attack one head-on and one from behind. The Praetorian Guard will kill the unit in the front and kill the unit behind, no problem, right? There's no scenario in which that Praetorian Guard fully gold chevron actually loses to those two cheap units. While in Attila, it's a completely different story. So in Attila, yes, if you have a unit that has better stats, better armor, better attack, whatever, and they're fighting a unit that's got much worse stats, or much worse armor and attack and all of that, and they're fighting head-on, the more expensive unit is going to win. If they both just charge in and, juke it out until one unit is left, then the more expensive unit will win. But in Attila, if that battle takes place differently, for example, if you have the two cheap units against one elite unit, the one unit attacks from the front, the one unit attacks from the back. And I guarantee you there is no way in hell that elite unit is going to win. Take the best infantry, for example, the best Roman infantry is probably the Herculani Seniors, and if you take that unit, give it full gold chevrons, and they fight two extremely cheap units, just like the Rome 2 example, that Herculani Senior is going to be cut apart, because in Attila, morale, flanking, shock tactics, hitting a unit in the rear, all of that has so much more of an impact in the battle. So that Rome 2 example I gave was a Praetorian fighting, two club levy or whatever the cheap, kind of throwaway, pagan band style infantry is. That Praetorian Guard unit is going to cut through them both, even if one attacks from the front, the other one repeatedly cycles from behind. It doesn't really matter. Praetorian Guards are going to win. While in Attila, if you take two cheap units, for example, two Pagan Band against one fully gold chevron Herculani Seniors, the one attacks from the front and the other one just hits them from the side or the back and cycles, that Herculani is dead. It's completely dead and it's not going to win that fight, okay? Because, as I said, Attila is not stat-based. Attila is tactical, it's strategic, and the battle mechanics are a lot more deeper, okay? Morale is actually super important. Even elite units can just absolutely chain rout. They can shatter in a battle, if they're hit in the flanks, if they hit in the rear, if the attacker uses, fear tactics like war cries or scare or, whistling arrows and things like that. All of that plays a way, way bigger role than it does in Rome 2. I'm not saying Rome 2 doesn't have any of that. Obviously, it has a morale system. It has all those same things. But Attila is all of that, but a lot more in-depth. The way I say, or the way I summarize it is this. Rome 2 is a very arcadey Total War, while Attila is a much more gritty, more in-depth, more tactical, more strategic, darker version of Rome 2, you know? So like, if a cycle charge or a rear charge is going to do, 5% damage in Rome 2, in Attila, dial that up by 10. It's going to do 50% damage or something like that. So that's basically what I mean when I talk about it. Now, it's enough talk, right? I'm telling everyone, I'm telling you guys, everyone who's watching this, you're like hearing me tell you Rome 2 is stat-based, and Attila is a lot more in-depth, a lot more tactical, flanks, all of that, cycle charging, all of that plays a much bigger role. Let me demonstrate that to you now, okay? So I've set up a scenario, and we have a replay saved, and what this replay is very simple. So we basically tried to set up the exact same scenario both in Attila and in Rome 2, so that you guys could, check it out and see how it actually unfolds. So if we have a look over here, this is the scenario. No, is this actually? No, that's not. Which one is it? Is the autosave? Yes, the autosave. Okay, cool. So it's the autosave over here, and or actually it's saved over here as well. But yeah, it's me playing Rome, obviously, with the Praetorian Guards, and it's my two friends who are playing Gaety, I think that's how you pronounce it, Danny and Apex, and they've got full armies of Felksmen. So the reason we use Felksmen is because that is a cheap unit in both Attila and Rome 2, and the exact same unit exists in both games. So we're going to click watch replay, and I'll continue talking as we do that. But as you can see by my army, I've got a full army of Praetorian Guards, all fully gold chevroned. I obviously have a general, that's the only non-Praetorian Guard unit, but he's not in the battle, we just keep him far away. Now, both the attackers, so both Danny and Apex, they have full armies of Felksmen, no chevrons, no nothing, and you're going to see how this unfolds. Now, they also are not allowed to use any throwables, and it's the same on both games. So we're doing that both for on Rome 2 as well as in Attila. And that's just because we want the scenario, the conditions of the scenario to be as similar as possible. So let's just speed this up to ×2 speed. Let's speed it up to ×4 speed. We'll slow it down once we actually get into the combat. But for now, I'm just going to move up and they're going to come over and surround me. So yeah, I have a full army of Praetorian Guard. As you can see, all the Praetorian Guard, it has full gold chevrons on them as well. Both of the attackers are using Felksmen. So yeah, oh, they actually have medium melee infantry? Interesting. But yeah, both of the enemy armies are using Felksmen. I'm pretty sure they don't get throwables in Rome 2. Yeah, I'm like 99% sure they don't get throwables in Rome 2. But in Attila they do, but we didn't want to allow them to use them in Attila because, well, as I said, when I say combat is a lot more tactical and in-depth, the results are very, very different, and you guys will notice it. In fact, we'll have this at 4x speed because we're just showing you this, right? So I'm just going to have it looking like this, and you guys can see it. Let me just minimize that. And yeah, we can wait for them, so they're going to push into attack. Now, the scenario is well, as I said, we try to make sure, everything is as similar as possible. So these were the exact scenario rules or settings that we used. So obviously for Rome 2, I used a full army of Praetorian Guard with gold chevrons, and I was allowed to use throwables on all my units. In Attila, I used a full army of Herculani Seniors just because there are no Praetorians in that era. So we used the equivalent of the Praetorian Guard, basically. So we used the most elite, most heavy Roman infantry in the game, which is Herculani Seniors. They all have full gold chevrons as well, and they are all allowed to use throwables as well. So exact same, throwables allowed, full gold chevrons. The only difference is the actual unit type, but it's basically the same thing as the Attila equivalent. Now, for the attack, as I said, in Rome 2 here, we are using these Felksmen units from Gaety. So that's 40 units of Felksmen, no chevrons or anything on them, so it's just the base units, and they are not allowed to use any throwables. That's specifically for the Attila ones, because the Rome 2 ones just don't have throwables. But yeah, Attila, we used the Falksman as well, so the exact same unit, Falksman, same name and everything. Yeah, and they're just, yeah, as you can see, they're just cycling. You can see this unfolding, and you'll be able to see the remnants. Also, my general is, where is he? Yeah, my general is just sitting in the back, so we're not even using the gen. I'm not using the gen abilities or anything. In Attila, we actually don't. The Attila scenario is actually slightly easier for me in terms of the rules that we use, just because I actually use my general there, not for fighting, but I use the gen ability. So I have brace on it, so I can pop brace impact on my soldiers, so that the cycle charging that the attackers are doing is not as effective. There we go. Yeah, his gen's coming in as well over there. Not doing much damage. That's just because it's Rome 2. If that was Attila, that gen would have wiped that entire unit out. Doesn't matter. What is this? Oh, this is a very heavy shock cavalry. Actually, never mind. If this was Attila, I would have absolutely destroyed the entire unit. Pulled back, cycled again, destroyed another unit. No problem. But yeah, as you can see, just a couple units left. And as you can see by my army, I have a lot of troops left. And remember, my army size is the same, okay? It's 19 units of, the heaviest infantry available to Rome, both here in Rome 2, as well as in Attila, full gold chevrons, all of that good stuff. But yeah, this is just showing, stat-based combat against actual more tactical, more strategic combat. And also, the effectiveness of different tactical things you do. For example, a cycle charge, right? It's a very common maneuver. You cycle in units, you cycle out units. They do as much damage as they can before the charge bonus wears off, and then you keep going over and over and over. But in Attila, it's a lot more effective, It does a lot more damage because the combat is not, the combat is a lot more dependent on what you do as a player and as a general, rather than just on how good your unit is. So if we have a look, I deployed 3,000 men. We lost 1,300. We killed 5k, but yeah. So we deployed 3k, we lost 1,300. That means we have about 1,700 men left. The attackers got about 1,200 kills, basically the 1,300 losses that I took. And they both deployed 3,120 men, so that's, just over 6,200 troops. So this is Danny's army, as you can see, and then this is Apex's army, as you can see. Now we're going to hit continue, and now I'm going to be back as soon as we load up Attila. Okay, everyone, and we are back. Now we are in Total War Attila, aka my favorite Total War game. So we're going to go over here, we're going to hit the replays, and we are going to load this Falks vs Herculanes. Over here, as you can see, I am playing the Western Roman Empire. Apex and Danilo are both playing the, they are playing the Ostrogoths and the Visigoths. Both are factions that have Falksmen. So we're going to click load replay. As you can see, I have a full army of Herculanes Seniors. All of them have full gold chevrons. As you can see by the attackers, they have full armies of Falksmen, or well, at least the one army that you can see over there. And yeah. Now, in this game, they do have throwables, so Falksmen do have throwables. As you can see, they have the blue ammo symbol. They don't have throwables in Rome 2, but they do have it here. But to make it fair, we just, we said no throwables because, again, they're not going to need it. Like, without throwables in Rome 2, I mean, you saw the results. I had, 1,700 men remaining. And we won that battle very, very easily. But we're going to do the exact same thing here. I'm going to make the same formation and everything, make a nuke box, basically. The difference is I am going to use my general, okay? So I have my general here. He has Brace as the ability picked, as you can see on the bottom left over here. Brace will increase attack, whatever. And also it gives me more entity mass, which is the most helpful thing, or the main thing over there. But yeah. I have my gen here, and unlike in Rome 2 where we didn't use the gen at all, I'm going to use mine here. And I know you guys are thinking, but wait, if this is supposed to be the exact same scenario as much as possible, why are you using the gen over here, The reason for that is because it doesn't matter. With Attila combat and the way Attila combat works, I am losing this. There's no way in hell that I win this, okay? Literally no way. So as you can see, I have my same noob square set up. Attackers are busy cycling units. Honestly, they don't even need to cycle these units. They could just attack with everything and they'll cut through me because, yeah, they don't need to cycle. The cycling is just it's just extra. But I mean, hey, it's good they do that because it's showing the same strats and stuff being used as well that were used in Rome 2. But yeah, we just on ×4 speed here, just so you can watch as everything unfolds. Now, as you can see, I am peeling units away because I'm literally running out of troops here. So I need to reinforce the front line, sending the gen in just to pop abilities on them. And if we look over here at the units... Okay, but let's just go back to normal speed. Can I see that? There we go, yeah. So we deployed with 3,120 men, aka the exact same army size we had in Rome 2. The attackers have 6,240 men, basically the exact same army size they had in Rome 2. But yeah, I'm down to 1,200 men left. They still have half their troops. So they've lost 50% of their army. I've lost 2/3 of mine. Gonna hit ×4 speed and watch this continue. Remember, guys, these are the exact same troops attacking. These are Falksmen. And over there in Rome 2, they're medium infantry. Over here, they're very light melee infantry. They're not even considered medium infantry or anything. I'm actually sending in my general now, I think, to attack soon. No, he's not attacking yet. I'm going to send him in last once everything else is dead. But yeah, as you can see, everything's cleaned up. And I will... Okay, yeah, there we go. So... all my units are basically dead. I'm just going to check the units left. So they have 1,700 men left while all my units are dead. Gen charges in. He's going to get a lot of kills because even though he's a melee cav, he is cavalry and this is Total War Attila. So even though it's just one singular charge, he's going to do decent. Getting nearly 140 kills there. We're going to end the replay. And as you can see over here, it's just a completely different story. I took the best units I have available to me. The Herculani Seniors. These are extremely good infantry for Western Rome. As you can see, full gold chevrons on all of them. And as you can see by the attackers, Falksmen, just the same Falksmen, the exact same unit that we had in Rome 2. And yeah, okay, well, the chevrons you're seeing is the ones they earned from getting a lot of kills in the match, but no chevrons on any of them to start the match with. But yeah, they were able to cut through me. So yeah, I deployed 3,120 men, and instead of only losing 1,200 like I did in Rome 2, I lost my entire army, 3,000 men, yeah, dead. For the attackers, they had again 6,200 men, both of them losing about 2,000 men, so 2k and 2k, that's 2.2k in total, 4.2k in total, and they have about 2,000 men remaining. So yeah, that just shows a bit of the difference, you know, between combat and actually seeing it now. Instead of me just telling you, you know, hey, Rome 2 is stat-based, Attila is a lot more tactical, it's a lot more brutal. You know, now you can actually see the difference in that, with basically the exact same scenario in both games played out with the exact same players, the exact same units for the most part, with the only difference being me using the Attila version of Praetorians. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do drop a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions at all, let me know down below in the comment section, or let me know your thoughts on this, because, you know, I'm curious to see what you guys say. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.